I traveled India to Germany and Germany to India during lockdown period, and I stayed in India for about 103 days. And I'm going to share with you that how did I manage. Now you will ask that okay Pragati, now international flights are not running, then how did you manage to come back? Let's discuss about it. I traveled from Munich to Mumbai on 28th of Feb for attending a wedding, and we came by Lufthansa flight, and we had to go further to Indore with a domestic flight from Air India. We had our return flight on 20th of March, but these keep cancelling, and finally we came back on 9th June 2020 by KLM flight. So after reaching Indore, we had to go to meet my family in Sagar, and we went there and stayed for 2-3 days, and then we went back to Mandsaur, and from there we had to go to attend this wedding, which was in a village, and then as soon as we reached Mandsaur, the lockdown was announced. It was a big risk to take for because we were traveling with a small kid. My daughter is just 3 years old, but we managed to do everything very nicely. So let's discuss that what precaution did I take. So while traveling, I used disinfection wipes, which is also called disinfections douche, and whatever my daughter was touching, or we were disinfecting our hands very often with these wipes. And also we booked a transit hotel. Niranta hotel is very good. I will put some videos of Niranta hotel, and we preferred transit hotel because we didn't wanted to come in contact with so many people in our airport stay. Also, long journeys are very tiring for small kids. So, if you book a transit hotel, then it gives them some time to settle down and sleep a bit, and so your journey will be overall good. So, if you have small kids, I strongly recommend that wherever you go, you should have a good night's sleep in transit hotels. We used normal measures like we washed our hands very often, we followed social distancing, and we used mask, and also we put some isopropyl alcohol in spray bottles and sprayed it everywhere and in our hands if we have to disinfect and something. As I was in India, I washed all the vegetables thoroughly with the baking soda and water, or salt and water. So because of the salinity, the vegetables are completely clean. We try to have good sleep because basically in this time, during corona times, it is very important to have good immunity. So it comes from the good sleep and de-stressing. So try to lower your stress and have good sleep so that you can have a stronger immunity. Also, I read somewhere that if you store water in copper utensils, then it is going to reduce the risk of viruses, and it increases your immunity. So we used copper utensils. Also, what I do right now is I bought a water dispenser and I added a copper pot inside that, so water can have some amount of copper. Also, if you want, and if you don't have anything of copper, then you can use copper coins to be added in your water. So now let's discuss about how was our journey from Munich to Mansour. So at that time, corona was not spread in Germany, and also not in India. So, but then also I don't know why I was very careful. So I insisted always to be in the transit hotel, and I avoided contact with other people. And so that's why we slept at Niranta hotel. And at that time there was not much difference, so as you have traveled before, it was all the same. But we took some other essential measures like this disinfection wipe and mask and everything. So and people were looking at us as if we are very hypochondriac. But you know, when you have the responsibility of a small kid on you, you have to be a bit hypochondriac. So it's okay. So obviously there was no social distancing, but what we did, one thing, we ordered some travel pillows that can convert a seat to a bed. So I and my daughter, we slept a bit in the flight. So then we slept at Niranta hotel. We had good night's sleep, but then we missed our flight next day because it was early in the morning, and our security line was very long, and we didn't expected that, so we missed that flight. And instead of coming from Air India flight, we had to take this Indigo flight. But they had very good service, and then we stayed for a few more hours in Niranta hotel. If you don't have Indian telephone number, it is very problematic, because then you cannot freely use Wi-Fi of the airport. So in that situation, if you don't have Indian telephone number, then what you can do is you can just contact to information counter, and they will help you out in that case. We took the next available flight to Indore, and before that we went back to Niranta hotel and had a foot spa, and then we reached to Indore, and we enjoyed so much. And I realized that traveling during this crisis was not a good idea. So I won't recommend anybody to do that. But if you already started your journey and you have to settle down somewhere, so then it is okay, you can come back and take the flight. But overall, you should avoid doing any travel in this time. So we waited for about 3 months to resume to international flights to resume, but it did not happen. And since my husband is a scientist and he is working in the similar field, so he had to come back, and that's why we had to do all this traveling. Let's get back to the point. And so the flights that you used to come back to your own native country or other countries are called evacuation flight. So basically what we did was we took evacuation flight, or it is also called rescue flight or repatriation flight, from KLM. So it was going on, and you might see that there are so many people who came back from these flights. But you have a permanent, if you have a permanent residence permit of Germany, or like if you have a German passport, then there was a Rückholaktion, or repatriation or evacuation program from which was the collaboration from Delhi Embassy, German Embassy of Delhi, and German government. So they provided some repatriation flight. They offered us two, but in that case, at that time, the lockdown was very strong, and there was no mean to go from Mandsaur to Mumbai or Delhi. So we could not, we didn't wanted to take such a risk. And since I and my daughter have a lot of motion sickness, we cannot travel by road, and the only way from traveling from Mandsaur to Mumbai was only car, or ambulance, so we did not took the repatriation flight provided by the government. However, at the end of April, they stopped this Rucolaxion completely, and after that, there was only two options to get back to Europe. First option was KLM flights. Another option was Air France flight. So Lufthansa offered a flight on 9th June for us, and that too was cancelled. We were completely ready. We waited till then, and it was until 8th of June it was manageable. But then we took this decision to take the KLM flight, and I was in a WhatsApp group, and there I saw on 1st of June that KLM flight booking is open, and we booked our flight immediately. There was some network problem, so I have seen that the seats available seats were 7 seats before, but when we started to book, it reduced to only 1. So we took one economy seat for my husband, and we thought that he will travel alone and he will come back and manage the things here. For that one economy seat, he had to pay 1,95,000 rupees, or you can say roughly around 1,800 euro, and he got an economy flight seat. So then we saw on 6th of June that there were 2 seats available, but that was in business class. So we immediately booked these seats for us, and but it was in business class, and funny thing about this is that we had to pay a bit less, but then also we got business class. So in my car ride from Mandsaur to Indore, we left early in the morning, and my daughter was asleep at that time, but when she wake up, she refused to eat anything, and maybe she was feeling a bit vomiting or something. So since we left so early in the morning, I could not give her anti-vomitic, but I myself took it, and I was okay, but she started vomiting at about 9 a.m. and we had still 2 hours to go, but it was difficult. Even when she drank juice or water, she started vomiting, and I was really afraid. They were anti-emetic domestic, and but then also she did vomit again, but then she wanted to sleep, so she slept for some time, and then we reached to Indore at about 11 a.m. and it was okay. Then she woke up, and I changed her clothes, and she was feeling very happy with her cousins, so she started playing and she was happy. Now at about 5 o'clock we have to take the flight to New Delhi, and from Indore airport, and if you don't know, Indore is in red zone, so we were very afraid. But as soon as we reached Indore airport, I must say that it was very well managed. People were following social distancing, and people were waiting outside, and they kept sufficient distance. They made some marking, and people were staying there. Our luggage at that moment was disinfected. There was a sprayer, and where you have to put your luggage, and it was disinfected. And then we had to show our ticket and passport as the packed in a packed counter, and after that our thermal screening was done, and so that just means that they use an infrared thermometer and check your body temperature without doing any contact. So and they were allowing only those who didn't had any kind of fever. So after thermal screening, we went inside and hand over our check-in luggage, and we got this self-declaration form and baggage tags by email after online check-in. So now we had to we check in our things, and in the flight they were not allowing any cabin luggage. So what we did was we took our cabin luggage, the hand luggage, so-called hand luggage, and we put it in check-in luggage. And since we already booked extra weight, so they didn't ask for more money. So before boarding starts, we had to wait a bit, and in that time I received a telephone call from KLM, and they were asking for my documents, like for our documents. So in this time we emailed our documents like passport and this passport and PR and visa and all such things. So we emailed them. One thing I want to mention is that you might be very afraid about the online check-in thing, but it's not at all bad. The airlines staff was very cooperative, and they did help us in everything. After that, we were provided with face shield, hand sanitizer, and some more things. I will put a photo here. And we were also provided a water bottle, and there was some instruction that you should avoid using toilet and drinking or eating during the flight. So anyways, it was just a 1 hour flight, so we didn't do any of such things. So our domestic flight was on time, and we reached there on time to Delhi on time. And we thought that we had some time to rest, but there was no time to rest, and it was very crowded in a domestic airport. It was very crowded, so we headed towards international airport. We took our luggage from the belt, and I gave a cookie and some soft drink to my child. And then we went to the international airport, and in the way we asked for all the transit hotel or lounges available, but most of them were closed or full. So we found a corner bench, and we sat there. We had our dinner, and my daughter, she kept playing, and my daughter and husband, and they keep walking around. And before us, there was a long queue of Vande Bharat mission flight of Air India, and it was very long. Like, there was 2 flights, one for Toronto and one for, I think, Chicago, and people were waiting there. They were getting desperate, they were getting tired and restless and unhappy. And after eating dinner, we wait till 10 p.m. and then somebody came, and a volunteer, they came and said that now KLM people can be in this line. So we gave our luggage. There was a special machine for disinfecting luggage, so our luggage was disinfected there. And in Air India flight, we saw that people are getting unhappy, and some of them started arguing and a bit of fighting, but we had to go in other direction anyways. So we move ahead, and now after disinfecting the luggage, we were provided with a self-declaration form, and our temperature was measured again. And basically there were 2 copies each per person of this self-declaration form. We filled this form and gave it to airport people. Now our luggage was checked in, and since we were in business class, we were provided priority check-in. But then also we had to wait for 2.5 hours in a line to get our form checked again. And during this time, my kid was getting really overstimulated, and she was playing around. She was being very noisy, and she was completely overstimulated. And in fact, all the kids around were getting really impatient and giving a bit hard time to the parents. But then after that, we were provided priority boarding, and I saw like it was not that bad in our case, because my daughter is very cute. She is not like, she didn't give so much hard time to us. But for example, there were newborn babies, and they were getting really impatient. They were crying loudly. And after that, we boarded in the plane. And as soon as she got comfortable in the seat and it was a bit dark, she slept. And the seat was very comfortable. It could be converted to a bed, and I will put some pictures there. And there was a big packet of snacks and everything. I will also provide a picture here. And yeah, then it was a bit comfortable. And during check-in, during takeoff, she was asleep, so I supported her head so that she doesn't get hurt. And after that, I converted her seat to bed, and she slept for about a good 7.5 hours. And I also could get some sleep. My husband, he came in night to check us, and he said that I was very I slept very nicely at that time. So, and then he came back again in the morning to meet us. And in between, I had to go to washroom once, but washroom was very clean. We were instructed to wear mask all the time. And I don't know, maybe I was so tired, so I slept wearing mask only. And in bathroom, there was hand wash, hand cream, and perfume and hair gel. The toughest part of journey was over by then. It was very comfortable by this time. We reached very comfortably to Amsterdam, and before taking off, we like my daughter, she ate a banana which was provided by the airlines. And I was very happy to see the gifts that they provided. And it was a bit cold, and I forgot to took warm clothes in the upper part of my hand luggage. So the airport was almost empty, and passport check was done, and without any problem. We just we waited a bit in the counter. They asked some simple questions, and a paper was given to us. It was about self quarantine thing. And here is a picture of this paper. In the flight, we were provided a sandwich and a cup of water, packed water. And I ate that and drank that. And my kid was again like, she slept very well, and she had a lot of energy now. So she started playing again. She was loud, and so air hostess gave her colored pencils and a passport cover, and that she liked a lot. And then we reached Munich. When we reached Munich, everything felt really changed, because when we came to India, it was very crowded. Everything was open. But when we took the S-Bahn from airport to the passing, it was completely empty. Like, and after some time, when the railway station was passed, main railway station was passed, Then we saw some people getting into train. Otherwise it was completely empty. You could not see anybody like in the train. And then we had to take a regional train, and we bought buy-in ticket um, from ticket machine, and we took this regional train, and we took out our jackets and wore that, um, and my daughter felt asleep again in the S1, and that's why then it get a bit difficult for us, because my husband hold her in the lap, and it was very difficult to manage one bag on the back and two suitcases, rolling trolleys. So as soon as we reached passing, there was an old man who helped us to get into the regional train, and I must tell you that even if lockdowns happen, even if the pandemic happen, people don't change. Those who are good, they help other a lot. In India also you can see this thing, and in Germany also it's the same. So I'm very thankful from my heart to that old man. And we woke her up when we were reaching our place, and then she walked, and we were able to manage all the luggage and everything. So now what's going on here? Right now we are in self-quarantine, and we found out that there are many means to get our grocery delivered. So but our neighbor is helping us to bring groceries. They are very happy, nice family, and they bring grocery for us right now. But when you come to Germany and you are in the self quarantine, you can either use Rewe Lieferung service, or bring Meisterpunkte or Amazon Fresh. So your grocery can be delivered by these ways. And if you have watched this video till here, maybe you also have seen my video about Jamuna.com. It is an online grocery store for Indian grocery, and you can use the rebate code Pragati_Jain for getting 10% off in the grocery. So if you want, you can use Jamuna.com also for ordering grocery for you. And then we had to call to Ausländerbehörde, or the foreign office, for something, and the lady in Ausländerbehörde told us that the rule for self-quarantine has been changed recently. So now if you want to end your quarantine, what you have to do is you have to take the test from your nearest households or the doctor, and they will send you a sample for testing, but you have to pay for your test. And if your test come back negative, then your quarantine can be ended at that moment only. Also, we are completely at the end of the video, and the German government has recently launched an app which is called Corona Warn app, and which is similar to Arogya Setu app, what is available in India. And you can download this app, and I also downloaded it in my mobile phone. Also, if you want to get yourself tested for corona, and if you don't have any symptoms, then you have to pay for yourself. It is not covered by your health insurance. So these are the things that I wanted to talk about my journey. And if you need any kind of help, you can write me in the comments, and I will get back to you, or you can also contact me in my social media. So if you watch this video till here, please consider to hit like button and subscribe to my channel, and we will meet again with a new video and a new topic. Until then, bye bye.